Thursday, June 18th. These are some words from James chapter 2. My dear brothers and sisters, how can you claim to have faith in our glorious Lord Jesus Christ if you favour some people over others? For example, suppose someone comes into your meeting dressed in fancy clothes and expensive jewellery, and another comes in who is poor and dressed in dirty clothes. If you give special attention and a good seat to the rich person, but you say to the poor one, you can stand over there or else sit on the floor, well, doesn't this discrimination show that your judgments are guided by evil motives? Of course, in these last few weeks, prejudice has been the attention of the world. Since the death of George Floyd, we have seen protests, we have seen politicians speaking out, we have seen people crying for change. And then I read an article. It was actually an article about busyness and how busyness has destroyed our connection, but let me read it to you. It speaks of an Arabic saying, and it did write the Arabic, but I'm not going to attempt to speak it, that roughly is, how is your hal? And the article says this: what is this hal that you inquire about? It is the transient state of one's heart. In reality, we ask, how is your heart doing at this very moment, at this breath? When I ask, how are you, that is really what I want to know. I'm not asking how many items are on your to-do list, nor asking how many items are in your inbox. I want to know how your heart is doing at this very moment. Tell me your heart is joyous. Tell me your heart is aching. Tell me your heart is sad. Tell me your heart craves a human touch. Examine your own heart, explore your soul, and then tell me something about your heart and your soul. Tell me you remember you are still a human being, not a human doing. How is the state of your heart today? Let us insist on a type of human-to-human connection where, when one of us responds as we are prone to do by saying, I'm just so busy, we can follow up by saying, I know you are. We all are. But I want to know how your heart is doing. Like I said, that article was written about busyness and how busyness becomes our identity. But in light of James' words about prejudice, about the way we see people, I couldn't help thinking that if we could think about that phrase, how is your heart in this moment? And if we could stop long enough to listen to people's replies about how they are right now, about what is their experience of life, if we could look them in the eye and say, how are you deep down in your soul, in your heartbeat? And if we heard the answer and heard the life experience and heard the pain and the suffering and the joy and the gladness, and if we listened, and if we could look people in the eye and allow them to tell their story, I can't help feeling that prejudice would diminish. That's a prayer for all of us. So the next time you ask somebody, how are you? make sure you have time to listen to the answer. Don't let them fob you off. Ask, how is your heart right now? Do tell me. Elsewhere in the Bible, Jesus says, "Come unto me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." I guess what he's saying is, how is your heart? And what Jesus means is, how is your heart? Let me take care of it for you. And if we can do that on his behalf with others, prejudice will vanish. That's my thought for today. See you tomorrow.